Welcome everyone to a emergency breaking news cast here live from our studio. Lenovo, in the latest patent war with Nokia, stopped selling lots, if not all, especially ThinkPads here in Germany. We are sorry, can't sell a lot of our products here, so you can buy click here, which is just some accessory and who knows what, some stuff of limited product availability. So what is the issue? And this whole thing is a total disgrace, and the best examples of patents is the usual patents for innovation, of course, not our S recurring theme here. So the issue is, as seen here in this news, that Nokia thewed the heck out of them here for apparently quite some time now already here, and forces an injunction against Lenovo, the world's biggest PC maker, block sales of its products in Germany after violating of a video encoding patent. Well, this is completely hilarious, right? A bloody video encoding patent, and you will see in a second what that is. The Munich court ruled on September 30th, the Hong Kong listed Lenovo, which is one of Nokia's patents, ordered an injunction. So you would wonder, does Nokia still exist, of their failing smartphone in general, totally unsuccessful, barely still existing shell of a leftover garbage company? And of course, nothing better to do. What to do with leftover company shells of unsuccessful, not being, patent innovation, our S, couldn't even compete. So the once star and monopoly of smartphone business, next to not existing, because patents not equal innovation, and Apple came along and invented the heck out of them, and not to mention Google, Android and whatnot. So ordered an injunction and a recall of products from retailers, among other things. Nokia launched its, so this is not a single occurrence, so Nokia launched its legal battle against Lenovo last year over alleged infringement of 20 patents. The Finnish company has ongoing cases against Lenovo, so not only in Germany, but United States, Brazil and India. In addition to 6 cases in Germany, Lenovo has appealed against this court ruling, and also Lenovo says here, quote, they believe Nokia has violated its own legal obligations by refusing to license its technology on fair, reasonable and non-discriminatory terms to either Lenovo and other third-party suppliers, whose parts include H.264 technology, a Lenovo statement said. So recurring theme here, proprietary video codecs and other garbage patents. And previous video I started to look into bringing open codecs AV1 to PDF of hopefully less patent infringing stuff, because this is also why personally, so not only in Linux open source distributions, for decades they didn't ship with MP3 by default and other such video codecs of this stuff. Maybe I need to review our sources, that we actually never need to check my ISOs, not that we accidentally ship such patent encumbered technology stuff, and by you probably only want to run open source stuff. In my opinion, this is a cool case, is truly disgusting. Also, the other thing, what you might not find reported on other sites, but the big thing for me is, like, H.264 is not even a main component of those products of Lenovo Think. So what are they violating? Unfortunately, they don't clearly write what they are violating here, but I would think, like in a ThinkPad, there is like probably 0 of what Lenovo ships by themselves in terms of this is an H.264 code product. So what is violating? So maybe that is the Intel or NVIDIA GPU, potentially, because that also, 2020 your CPU or hybrid APU GPU thing implements this in hardware, and then a bloody patented proprietary standard garbage, and then your CPU or GPU or other such components might be in violation with bloody patents, right? And then you ship this product and you get sued by bloody patent troll leftover shell companies of former glory that is now Nokia garbage for violation of this bloody video patent. Although you might not even have used this in some way, except it's there in your GPU. And the other thing is, Lenovo, of course, shipping this with Windows. So it's unclear to me whether Nokia, I think it didn't mention this here. We could read the rest of this, but I didn't immediately find whether it's about also Windows, right? So Lenovo ships this with Windows. And also, this is so hilarious. Probably what Lenovo ships there, I don't obviously necessarily know the details, but I would think Microsoft probably pays this bloody patent fee. So I would probably argue that, say, Lenovo already pays, in terms of components, already multiple times this bloody H.264 patent fee in Microsoft Windows. So probably I would expect Microsoft to pay already this bloody license, most likely, maybe even Intel or Nvidia for this being part in the GPUs and drivers. So the irony of all the whole bloody shit here is even that is this patent garbage, and why I would actually call for 98% of the patents. In my opinion, there's very little stuff that should be patented. And even then, so there are multiple companies. So there are like 40 different companies of Philips and whatnot, and all the MPEG patent mafia stuff there involved. But in general, what do you want to patent? If you patent like a rocket that can fly you to Moon and Mars, even there, governments are involved. If not nowadays SpaceX, but even SpaceX got government, lots of 100 millions, if not billions, government supported funding. Should even SpaceX be allowed to own some patent on some rocket design stuff? Or is it with so much public funding backed to make this even possible? Should this already be public domain? And the same, like even if you say, okay, for the latest and greatest state-of-the-art real science research, there should be patents, then like what is with fusion reactors? Even fusion reactors, it's not a single company like Honeywell or Siemens or Bosch or General Electric or whatever the case might be, French EDF or whatever their energy company stuff is. So even this fusion reactor stuff, this amazing stuff we also built here in Germany, but even that is only tested in Wendelstein-X or whatever the exact name was. But even there you see all the research funded by universities, by governments. Even for that, if you say, okay, fusion reactor stuff, but even that is not a single inventor with a single company. This is a huge 100, if not 1,000 company collaboration over multiple countries and centuries and billions of government-backed money. Should there be in the end a patent of whatever is magnetic coils and fusion Star Trek like fusion plasma or containment field, whatever stuff, if this is anyways a result of university and hundreds of billions of government backing. And this is even bloody video prediction. This is not even a fusion reactor, it's just some video format, encoding format. And this whole stuff is even, as far as I remember, H.264 ISO standard, probably is an ISO standard. And in my opinion, this is also really hilarious. I previously always thought ISO standard is just some government, like countries getting together. And just recently I learned this is also, you can ISO standards, they're basically everything, and you need to even like we with the PDFR, previous video, PDF raster there, you even need to pay to be part of the ISO stuff of member organizations or other associative members in terms of PDF association. So you even pay bloody fees to even be able to make your bloody ISO standard, to have an international standard for other companies to work with. And at the end of the day, the standard even costs money, right? Some 150 to 250 something euro. And then it's even a drama, even getting a review copy, like even need to theoretically at times pay for downloading your own standard that you already paid member fees for, just because. So what I want to say, even this ISO standard, I always thought it's like a more government community driven thing, which it isn't. It's basically more of a corporate entity of running international standard stuff. And this doesn't mean it's an ISO standard, does not mean it's like public domain. It's just like it's an expensive standard that might be patent encumbered with hundreds of patents, which is, in my opinion, really a shame. If companies get together to make a video broadcasting format standard to be able to interchange video format stuff, then it should also be if they make this an international standard for the benefits of being able to work together. Because if Nokia just has one product that they don't even sell because they are mostly non-existing anymore, then they sue the heck out of other companies who just happen to ship some components. And that is also what I said initially. It's not even a main feature. It's not like they sell this ThinkPad as an H.264 video encoding station. They sell the ThinkPad as a general purpose computer without even H.264 being a major feature that just happens to be in there with a GPU or Windows. Not sure if Lenovo has there some phoning backdoor with H.264, but unless they did something stupid or some Lenovo support app that does chat video encoding of face-to-face. Lenovo support probably not, but you never know what nowadays is in there. Anyway, my point is I would expect this not be a major selling feature, and yet they have here sales injunction in Germany for this nonsense. This is so hilarious, and one of the best summaries. The only other thing that is hilarious as this is Apple's design patent on rounded rectangles, and the whole patent system basically being a whole clusterfuck of a shit show, if you ask me. As this whole thing should not be allowed. And front means here, this is also like ISO standard should be fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms. It's like, yeah, good luck with your small startup negotiating front terms there with Nokia. And what they probably say is they say here like 50 times lower. It's like, yeah, H.264 technology is a video compression format. Like, how the freaking heck is this directly related with Lenovo ThinkPads, except being in there in some component? And Lenovo further says here, yeah, Nokia said that Lenovo has been unwilling to enter discussions and can resolve the matter, expecting responsibilities and agreements, license and fair terms. And Lenovo, however, says like Nokia is demanding a highly inflated global royalty rate that is more than 50 times what Lenovo believes is reasonable and appropriate. Like probably Lenovo certainly being a copy counting business like Tim Apple there. It's like, yeah, Lenovo probably fair and reasonable is like a cent or 5 or 10 cents or something, which again, with all the patents, imagine you pay for all the bloody patents, which you would expect your component like Wi-Fi patents, LTE patents there. Basically you ship a bloody ThinkPad, and who knows, even IPS panel patents and all the other like x86. You would expect you source a component like your Wi-Fi card or your GPU, and those vendors pay already for all whatever they built in there. But at the end of the day, whether you be a small startup or an international giant like Lenovo, you're getting sued for this bloody stuff. So 50 times lower, I don't know what that means. If so, 50 times lower, does Nokia want one? I also wish they would more often quote your numbers. Maybe Nokia wants $1 and 50 times lower would be 2 cents, or how that calculation works out. But yeah, also in similar news, Nokia has previously sued Apple for infringing those patents and received a whopping $2 billion settlement in 2017. In terms, you were wondering what means fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory. It's like, yeah, in terms of Nokia versus Apple, that meant $2 billion in their pockets of being a patent troll sitting there and enjoying their warm office day in Finland, apparently, allegedly, as far as it looks from this patent lawsuits. Leave in the comments below a total disgrace, a total shit show. Another case, and this is such a clear case of complete nonsense, especially in terms of, it's not even, if Lenovo would sell a video encoding DVR, digital video recording thing for your store's video cameras or video conferencing product, but a bloody regular ThinkPad, for God's sake, it's hilarious. And I rest my case. It's, yeah, but that is so. In case you're wondering how the big business thing, Apple, kind of Tim Apple copy counting business works, this is how. So yeah, that is a summary. It's disgusting. That also means I can't order a ThinkPad now. I'm anyway hoping. I hope they settle this. But yeah, also if you're wondering what do you pay for, right? So if they probably settle this eventually, maybe for 2 billion, then yeah, all the ThinkPad users the next years pay this bloody fee of, yeah, you want to pay for H.265 hardware encoding support in your Intel GPU with, yeah, in case you wonder why ThinkPads soon will cost some bucks more, probably. This is so hilarious. It's Marco says it's hilarious. H.264 soon be obsolete, and yes, also you don't even want to use it, and it's in there, and you. Yeah, I wish, as I said, I wish they would include here more precisely for what exactly, but it can, in my opinion, can only be Windows or like the Windows software. I wonder, maybe even Intel and Microsoft pay in part. Sometimes I would expect, like if this is not in your core product and this is in the Intel GPU or Microsoft Windows, that their lawyer help with that, which is more ridiculous, like with that they even lose this here in part. Yeah, but also I would, it must be some, but yeah, it's pure speculation, but I would think it must be some component that the vendor like Intel is not willing to pay the royalties for. This is the whole situation is hilarious. Yeah, comments in the audience, Trady Trev says H.265 is pretty much mainstream with IP cams currently, yeah, but the same as H.265 is the same patent situation, right? So maybe that is the next lawsuit or another lawsuit. They, as you see, they have your lawsuits in the USA, India, Brazil, and 6 also in Germany or something. Was it 6 of ongoing? Where do we have that? Finnish company has ongoing cases and additional 6 cases. So maybe, I don't know what the other cases are about. Maybe it's another case because H.265 is the same situation. Plus Wi-Fi. Maybe they also sued for the 6 other cases. Might be Wi-Fi patents, LTE patents, or 5G patents, and H.265 because obviously, right, there's so much stuff you can patent troll few people about. So yeah, don't make a mistake that you think H.265 would be any different. It's worse because it's H.264 plus the new H.265 patents. So yeah, don't use proprietary codecs. I probably need to double check that the ISO we published does not include any open source precompiled stuff, not that Nokia gets the idea to sue the heck out of us. Marco writes, patent shit infuriates him as much as me. It's disgusting. This is also, and last but not least, this is also why my small little company is in GmbH, if you were wondering, here of exact code stuff, because I was already in 2005 when we founded the company. It's like, yeah, exactly for this reason, this is like something like limited. Because exactly for this bloody patent stuff, you do open source, you have a hard time even earn some money with open source, and then at the end of the day, we might even get sued for doing some H.264 with open source stuff in T2 or something, which is, yeah, and then 2005 already, small independent one-time or couple of people stuff. And this costs us money, right? So this GmbH stuff costs us more money. We needed, at that time, you needed some cash in the bank, and which they changed later. But even now, if you start now with a small GmbH in whatever the exact terms was, then you need to, if you start without money, like with €1 or something, you need to feed all your profits into that, I think, until you have the minimum amount of a full GmbH, I think. But we even pay more taxes, right? So like, unlike unsuccessful other orange business who pay no taxes, we even need to pay additional taxes just because it is legally freestanding entities. So there are additional business, like limited entity business taxes. If I would run my business, but yeah, 2020 or 25 to 2020, small independent people like us pay more freaking taxes than orange failing presidents just because they want a little bit of protection against bloody patent lawsuits in terms of, yeah, worst case, I'm not personally liable for this stuff and we just liquidate the company because we can't pay 2 billions or whatnot for failing H.264 patent garbage, just in case you're wondering. So yeah, if you want to do a startup and stuff, then probably you want to set up in some way, even if it costs you more money to have a little bit of insurance. As sad as it is, you need 25 to 2020, you need a little bit legal insurance, not to be personally liable, because good luck paying Nokia a couple of billions for the rest of your life in case they ever come after you. It's so sad. And so let's see, Marco writes CDR plus something shit back in the 90s. Yeah, it's patent. It's like, yeah, just look at the 3G, 4G and all the bloody Vactorent says, why Lenovo particular? Well, I guess, so usually what they do, so Nokia, I think they wrote here, probably they sue more, maybe they, you start somewhere, right? So Nokia wants money, they are greedy patent trolls, allegedly, according to what this looks like. And so you go after the big first, and you don't mess, I mean, like Louis Rossmann says, don't be a half bitch, be a full bitch. So Nokia certainly all in, who'll bitch, suing the richest first, because there are some billions to make from Apple and Lenovo. Well, they first sued Apple, now they are at Lenovo. They for sure sue a couple of more, including Lenovo additionally in USA, Brazil, India, and 6 cases in Germany. And I'm not sure, so they write there, if it's Intel's fault. Yeah, I don't know which component is affected. Might be Intel, maybe it's Intel, but who knows. If you have additional insight, leave us in the comments below. It must be something of that sort, or Microsoft, who knows, something of, but yeah. But maybe they sue the end product original OEM, original equipment manufacturer, ODM, or original device manufacturer here, because they bring that to market and Intel is not directly, well, they bring some CPUs to market here, but not sure what exactly the case might be there. Really strange stuff. Sam writes, they should be forced to stop selling purely because they stick to 16 to 9. Yeah, LOL, our own stuff here of recurring theme of stop the display bezel waste there and 60 by 10, but anyway, no, this would patent stuff, but they also see our bloody governments be it as incompetent all over, and the regular, this happens when well-paid rich lobbyists, our politicians, whether it be in Germany, EU, UK, Australia, USA and all over the place, only hang around with the usual Rolex watch wearing rich lobbyists, and they only hear the protecting business and other garbage interest talk stuff, and they ignore other, because as you see, the big companies at the end, Apple and Lenovo, they can pay stuff eventually. I would even argue it hurts small and medium-sized companies the most, because they have neither the means to negotiate stuff nor to pay the stuff. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. Unfortunately, these are the sad news of yesterday. I hope you learned something all that patents are probably garbage. I hope everyone can agree. Otherwise, leave in the comments below. Marco says 25 of your turnover goes into the 25k GmbH minimum. Yeah, something of that sort. Once you reach 25k for the GmbH and not in UK any longer, again with notary cost and changing the registration. So yeah, unfortunate news, especially for us in Germany who need the ThinkPad. Thankfully, we have enough old garbage from an SG Octane to PS3 to survive here a couple of more decades on failing slow, and worst case, we just use our Pine 64 Pine phone donation to run our desktop. Anyway, I hope you learned something. Leave in the comments below what you think. And as usual, vote with your wallet and don't support failing potential business and the usual stuff. And I hope to see you soon for the next videos and live streams to come.